most women business owners only make $50,000 a year in their businesses. Like that was in a Forbes magazine. And that made me sad because we are worth so much
Yeah.
more than that. So like that's like a new mission that I
Yes.
have. Yeah. So
50,000 is the average. Mm.
yeah, most women business owners only make $50,000 a year in their business, and which is far, and it's far less. And women in general make 28% or charge 28% less than men in their businesses.
Yes.
So I
Yes.
don't know.
That's
I
when
was
we're
on a
setting our
statistic.
own rates, right? That is the FreshBooks study. I
Yes.
was so upset I wrote a Forbes article on that a couple years ago because it's like what this is when we're so we can't even blame like corporate structures because this is
No.
women freelancers when we're setting our own rate, which brings us back to worthiness, which brings us back to the
Yes.
confidence gap, which brings us back to the brilliant work you're doing through She Grows Rich and the next book that you'll be building and the
Yeah.
course. So again, everyone, if just make sure if this is something that's calling to you, you want to know your numbers, you want to charge your worth, you want to empower yourself in this way, get Audrey's book. Follow, we'll again put this in the show notes so that you can do this. And Audrey, I'm so excited because you kept saying from the beginning, I'm not a writer, I'm a finance
Yes.
person. And so how do you feel now that you overcame the gremlin and just said, I don't need to be a writer. I am an expert and I can put a book together using the structure.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't have done it without Thought Leader Academy. I know that. Like, there's no way in the world it ever would have been born without Thought Leader Academy. So I can tell you that for sure. Um, writing gets to be part of who I am now. And, it may not be my highest gift I was gifted was understanding the numbers and the finance part. But when I wrote the book, it actually brought out a creative side to me that I really enjoyed, right? It brought out a different side to me that, like, yeah, maybe I'm not a writer, but wait a minute, like, I kind of like this. I like doing this. And I want to do like a parable, as you and I talked about for my next book. So that's going to take a lot of creativity for sure.
It's going to be amazing. I mean, the business parable is such a burgeoning genre right now. Everybody, if that excites anyone else listening to this episode, right? It's like that's where you take your methodology. Like Audrey has a way that she helps people, and coaches them in their finances and their business. Instead of writing it a straight how to, which is also great, a thought leader book, we can create a story of a business that goes through the process. And so you have books, Gino Wickman's Get a Grip does this. The Motive was a big book for 2024 that did this. Energy Leadership, which is a book I love, uses a business fable.
Yeah.
So Audrey, I'm excited
Yeah.
that you found the creativity was always in you, right? Picasso says every
Yeah.
child is born an artist. Every child's born an
Yeah.
artist. We're all born artists. We're born creative. We have creativity, but we get told like it looks like, oh, you're supposed to be able to draw realistic portraits. Like I remember a boy in my first grade class who he could sketch people really well. And I said, oh, I guess I can't be
Yeah.
an artist because Tim can draw like that. Like I thought that was the whole box that an art, if you could do that, you were an artist. If you couldn't, you weren't. And so way to go.
Yeah.
I'm so happy I'm so
Thank you.
excited for this creativity to come out, for you to, continue doing this amazing work in an expanded way. And I mean, you are on like gangbusters on the podcast. So you're on the podcast tour and now you're going to start your own.
I have a couple of week booked. I mean, it's crazy. I'm super excited. So,
Well, enjoy
and
every second. Yes, go for it.
the book also brought another opportunity to me, which was interesting. Was I'm a beta reader for a personal finance parable. So I want to do my parable on business finance. Somebody else came to me because my She Grows Rich is around personal finance, and asked me to be a beta reader for her parable,
Mm.
and which is her second book. So like that's exciting. I started reading that last night, so super excited. But just to say a little bit about She Grows Rich, because we talked a lot about me and my journey, is It's a personal finance book. It has a little bit of my story, how I went from the poverty line to now having a net worth of over $2.5 million, and how I've helped other women do that. So it's a, how-to guide,
Mhm.
is what it is, most of the book. There's a little bit of my story weaved in and some stories of the other women that I've helped weaved into it. But yeah, I've gotten a lot of great reviews as well on Amazon, so you can find it on Amazon. She Grows Rich: How to Become a Financial Powerhouse. And I hope it helps you in your personal journey, anyone that reads it.
Yeah, Audrey,
Personal
it
finance
will.
journey.
It's going to help everyone, and our personal finances relate to our business finances and back and forth. I know everyone in our live audience is like, yeah. So you guys all get Audrey's book. It's so good. And Audrey, you're the real deal. And that's why it's so wonderful to have people guiding and having a woman. I'm just saying it. Like, I didn't want to keep going to like men financial advisors as a woman who's really working on empowering myself and breaking the paradigms of sort of how it's taught and how we know what women even unconsciously are told they're capable of. So I'm so thrilled. I know people in the chat are like, I got it already. I got that book. I love it. So, Audrey, congratulations. Enjoy the podcast tour. We're so excited for your podcast to
Thank
come
you.
out. Enjoy the speaking engagements and the course. Everyone is so lucky to get to be working with you. So, thanks for coming on today. We're so
Thank
excited.
you, Sarah. Thanks for having me.
So much more to come. That's amazing. So, everybody, you know, it's such a big deal to stay the course when we have a vision. And Audrey, I'm so grateful, Audrey, for you coming on and showing us like why it's worth it on the other side. On the other side of, oh my God, there's no time in my day to write. On the other side of, it's going to be hard. Will it be good? Will anyone read it? Will it open those doors? And it's so inspiring to see someone, for me, to see someone stick with it even though they've all the same fears, doubts, time issues, all the same, gremlins and constraints, and really see what happens on the other side. So, Audrey, I'm so thrilled for you. I'm so excited for all of you, in our audience, on the platforms, on social, and listening in on this and here today in Zoom, because there's a pathway, right? We know what's on the other side of all of our fears, concerns, doubts. And so where I want to take us now is to a quick turnaround. I want to know if anyone has faced an obstacle so far in January. If you're in our live audience, let us know in the chat. If you're on social platforms streaming in, let us know in the comments. Has anyone so far, right? We have now passed what's called Quitters Week in terms of where people typically in the Western world give up on their biggest goals, dreams, and resolutions by February 1st. It's somewhere between January 14th, some studies say, and February 1st. Other studies say, so somewhere in this pocket that we're in right now, many people say, boom, right? Like, I'm out, it's too hard, I don't have the time, because there is an undertow, right? There's an undertow that wants to take us into the familiar every single day, to do what we've done, to be what we've been, to think the way we've thought, and we will keep having the same results. And I know some of you who are here in the studio ones are like obstacles up the wazoo. I felt like I got my butt kicked in the last 3 weeks from certain things. And so what I want to talk about is the phenomenon that can happen when we set the big next goal, right? We come into, whether it's a new year, a new quarter, a new month, it's just a random Tuesday, and we feel like, dang it, this is the day that I'm going to do something, differently. And we get all excited and we get the endorphins of possibility going. And then, right? If you read the book, The Big Leap, Gay Hendricks calls this the upper limit happens. Whether you listen to Carl Jung and it's the saboteur, right? There's all these different ways we can talk about it, but what is often, if not always, we don't want to project that it's always, but what is often the path is that we set the new thing, we step into the new vision, we're doing our mindset work, and then stuff does not go the way we planned, not go the way we hoped. There are obstacles. It's like I thank my parents every day, but we weren't allowed to play video games growing up. And I see my son's generation where it's like that's their main like social, hang. And what I what I know is that if it was a video game, it'd be like those little obstacles, those little characters would be popping up in front of your path, and you'd have to, find your way through them, right? And so, what are we going to do about that? Like, what is going to change the game so that we don't join the 92% of people who by this point in the year have just said, F it. I guess I can't. I guess it's too hard. I guess I'm not worthy. I guess it's not possible. I guess the economy, I guess the politics, I get, whatever, right? And just justify and talk ourselves back away from the goal and think, oh, I guess I just gotta kind of stay where I've been. That is not what life wants. It's not what you want because you were created to expand. You were created to evolve. You were created for more. You were created to continue going to the next level. So, what are we going to do about it when it doesn't work the way we want it? So, are you guys up for I'm going to share what I'm doing about it? And I feel like I might even get emotional, okay? Because I'm going to tell you some real stuff that was, felt like signs, right? Obstacles, really concrete, three-dimensional stuff. So, the normal human reaction, let's just presence that. I'm going to show you what I'm doing differently to see if you want to try this out. The normal human understandable reaction from our logical mind is that if we set a goal and say, yes, this is my time, I'm stepping into it, woohoo, and then a bunch of stuff happens, or even one big thing happens that feels very counter to that goal, sometimes we can respond by saying, maybe this is a sign that I'm not meant to do it. Has anyone interpreted an obstacle that way? Maybe this is a sign it's not meant to be. Maybe this is a sign that I am not good enough. Maybe this is a sign. So that is a very human, normal thing to do because we just think, hey, we make up, okay? This is called spiritual blackmail with the universe. All right, you want to learn a new term? Spiritual blackmail with the universe is if I was meant for this, it would happen more easily. If it was meant to be, there would be more flow. If it was meant to be, I wouldn't be facing these obstacles. If it was meant to be, then it would be happening more easily. That is not the truth. That's not the truth. Sometimes it is easy and green lights and flow. That's really fun. But it can equally be your destiny and have all kinds of freaking things jumping out at you in the way. And so the key for me is to first remember whatever story we tell ourselves is the story that will determine our results. Whatever story we're living, whatever story is playing out in our mind is the story that's going to play out in our results in the world. That's just neuroscience. It's just straight up research based. You can look it up. So if we have a story of, oh, I guess it's not meant to be, or things have to go easily for me to know I'm on track, or it has to be without obstacles for me to believe and have faith in this vision, then that's what's going to happen. But how about the Shiro's journey? How about that the whole framework of human narrative from the Odyssey, the Iliad, the ancient Beowulf, the ancient texts from the first time people wrote anything down or even oral tradition spoke legends and spoke stories, that has never been the narrative. It has never been the narrative. So, what I'm going to invite us into, the first thing I do is I make sure I'm going to change the narrative. The narrative of, oh, this must not be meant to be because there's these obstacles. Oh, maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe I'm not, it's not the time. Maybe the universe doesn't have my back. Because it feels let's be real. It does not feel good to go for something and then have a bunch of junk either go wrong, get in the way, deny, block, whatever. It does not feel good. I set a vision to just take our YouTube channel big. Okay. If those of you that are in the Secret Visibility Project, you'll hear this again later. It's the vision. I've been studying YouTube. I've been immersed in YouTube. I've been visualizing YouTube. And guess what's happened since I started the new channel? Number one, Number one, my son did something to my Google account because he was also LinkedIn that got us barred from doing any boosted posts, any Google ads, any way to grow the channel for any of the methods we want to touch. Like just not able. Now it looks like what I'm going to need to do is, and what we've already put in place is starting a completely new channel from scratch beyond the first one where I had already built up 1,000 watch hours. almost 3,000 subscribers, going to be gone, going to lose it all. And that's just like, these are very first world problems, right? I want to just describe, but I'm saying if the goal is, yes, let's go big on YouTube, and I actually show up and I make, I don't know, something like over 100 videos. I do all this organic strategy. I spend my time. I research cameras. I do the things. I learn how to, it takes a lot, those of you that create anything, right? We got to make the time. I do all that work, and likely it's all not gonna count, right? Going away. So I could say, wow, maybe the universe doesn't want me to be on YouTube. Like maybe I'm not supposed to, go big here. Maybe I'm not supposed to be more visible. Maybe that's just for other people, not for me. And then here's where my brain even goes. Maybe that's for lovable people. Like people who are really lovable, this wouldn't happen to them. Then my brain will just go there, some like identity level nonsense. Right? So the first step is to challenge the false story. It's a false narrative. All that's true. Okay, so step two, the first is to say, what narrative are you running about the obstacles? Are you telling yourself it means it's a sign you're not supposed to do it? Are you telling yourself you're not worthy? Are you telling yourself maybe it's not allowed to happen for you? Are you telling yourself you don't deserve it? First thing is to challenge, to see what narrative you're even running. What's the story you're running? Okay, so put story in the comments if you're watching on social or here in the Zoom room. Put story if we understand. We've got to understand the story that we're running about the obstacles first. We cannot change what we don't acknowledge. Okay, so if you had setbacks, right? And I am not by any means saying this is some big trauma, right? It's just, it's frustrating and upsetting. And I spent hundreds of hours on that channel, and I might lose it all, right? Okay. So number one, the story we're telling. Number two, right? The second part is to say, what else could be true? Right? If that story isn't a good story that empowers me, right? And I know it by how I feel, then I will invite you all to do step two, which is the facts, ma'am, just the facts. Okay. So the first is, what story am I running? Which for me was a very, limiting negative story. Then what are the facts? The facts are, I started this thing. There's some issue with Google and the metrics and the account, even though we've been on 19 support calls, everybody, 19. Okay. 19 support calls, emails, the hours, not just creating the content, right? The hours of just trying to get it sorted out, right? And now I've been ghosted by all the people that have said, oh, we can get this sorted. They've looked at the account. They've looked at the back end. There's nothing wrong. Yes, everything's up to date. Yes, we have your credit card. Yes. I mean, all of it, right? But all the hours of that, all the hours of the content, right? So what are the facts? The facts are, I did this work. There's some issue on Google, who owns YouTube's side, that is apparently not being able to be fixed. The people we've reached out to for support have dispersed in some, for some reason, right? I spent the time, it's just the facts. I spent this time, it's not working. It may never work, right? We may have to do a different alternative, right? Okay. That's the facts. That has nothing to do with if it's a sign from the universe, if I'm allowed, if it's going to work out, that I'm a lovable person. Like all that other stuff is off the table, just the facts. So put facts in the chat or in the comments if you're watching this on YouTube or other platforms. Okay? Facts. You just say the facts. The facts are just the facts. They don't mean anything in addition to this is just what is. Then we're going to take a breath. Step three, you just breathe. Step one, what story am I running? If it's not empowering, getting rid of it. What's the facts? Now, part three is where it gets fun, right? What is the news story, even if I don't believe it, that I'm going to make up that's going to take me where I want to go? One thing, when I actually just sat and listened and really meditated on this over the last 3 weeks as all this has been going on, is for whatever reason that I will never know, probably, this is part of how I am going to explode a channel on YouTube. This is part of how I actually am going to be creating massive impact on that platform that I love so much. This right here, this exact process that I'm in with the issues with the account, with the potentially having to start a brand new channel, like You know what I mean? Like, this is the way. This right here, this path that looks like problems and challenges and lost time and lost articles and frustration and all the, this is the path. This is actually the path of how I'm going to be able to make a massive impact on YouTube. It's not a sign I can't be there. It's not a sign I don't deserve it. It's not a sign the universe has abandoned me. Has anyone else ever felt abandoned in your vision? Yeah, breakdown before the breakthrough. Exactly. Right? So the news story is this is how I'm going to do it. This is not taking me away. This is moving me forward. So do we feel how different that is? If you start to take an experience, anyone, it sounded like a lot of people in our live audience, at least today, said they have had some kind of an obstacle or setback already in January. It's like, thanks, New Year. Like, thanks for, no, this is the way. Ryan Holiday wrote a great book on it. The obstacle is the way, right? We don't want to hear that. We don't want to hear that. I don't know if I'm allowed to swear because this is broadcasting out. So I'll just say, we don't want to hear that. You know what? We just want it to work. We want it to flow. We want it to be easy. We want green lights so that we can believe. But this is where faith comes in your vision. If you have the calling for something, that is your destiny. The calling is the sign. The calling is the affirmation. The calling is the confirmation that you're meant to do it. And so any obstacle comes up, my decision, because decisions determine our destiny, I'm just giving it a high 10 and saying, let's go. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for shutting that old channel down that I spent, I don't want to talk about how much time. Thank you. Because the new one is going to be awesome. It's going to be even more awesome, more magnetic, more impactful, serve more people, create more breakthroughs for the people that find it. Even the name of the new channel is so much better. It's already a bigger energy. It's a bigger vibration. So I don't know why it needed to go this way. I don't know why it needed to go this way, but it's not against me and it's not pulling me back and it is moving me forward. So I want to see the word forward. You're going to create a story that moves you forward. You're going to create a story that, if it were true, would have you feeling excited. I'm now excited. I am not thinking about the hours lost and the money spent and all that. I could, because it's over 10 grand, people, in terms of all the different trainings and consulting, all the stuff from that. I'm not putting a negative spin on that. It's moving us forward. I love this. This is the Oracle deck, right? So what obstacle has come to you already so far this year that you are now going to reclaim as a freaking gift? As a gift that is going to launch you exponentially. This is going to move now. If you want to really have fun and supersize it, I love saying supersize. I loved that movie years ago, the supersize movie, and I love using it for thought leadership. What is the story that's going to supersize it? To me, it's like I'm even gonna go bigger and faster than if the first route worked. That's what I've decided about this. I am so excited. Now, I still have that gremlin saying, no, if you were supposed to, if you were supposed to really be able to make, what you want to do on YouTube, you wouldn't have had all these problems. Oh, how does that feel in my body? Yuck, clenched, bad, right? Clenched gut. Nope. What's the new story? And Neville Goddard, old school, visualization, mindset, thought leader from many decades ago, said the new story is the true story. The new story is the true story. So the crappy gremlin version of your story, we're letting go of that today. Can I get some agreement? We are letting go of any story that makes something about you're not allowed, you're not good enough, you can't, the world isn't supporting you, the universe. Nope, that's gone. There's facts, and then there's the future forward. Okay, that's the new story. The new story is going to be the true story because we're just going to line up with it and we're going to program our brain to go out and find evidence of it. Okay, so that's your bonus. You're going to ask your brain to show you 3 signs and affirmations this week that the new story is the true story. And I'm talking anything. If I hear someone else share a story of a channel shutting down and then their next one being better, I'm putting that on my list of signs, even though it didn't happen to me, because I am one with that. You could be one with anything you see, right? You're going to look for 3 signs this week that the new story is the true story. So I want to see new story in the chat. Whoever is in, who's ever going to do an experiment, do an experiment. You don't have to take my word for it. You're going to do an experiment, right? New story. If you're claiming a new story around any obstacle you faced, and then I'm going to put myself in a container where I am going to surround sound myself with the new story. Right? So those of you that are joining us, we're starting a game changer accelerator next Monday, a week from today, that's going to go for 90 days. So that we are in an immersion of the new story, of forward thinking, of high vibration, of alignment with success. So make sure you're in that accelerator. Okay? Make sure that you are in that accelerator. And if we can, oh, thank you. Yeah, we'll share. Those of you watching on social, we'll put that in the comments, in the show notes. Okay, make sure you join us for this 90 days, because this is what changes the game. We cannot change the game if we're running the old story. We can't change the game if we start believing those very persistent and seductive, scary lies that part of us will say, you can't, you're not allowed. All right, so make sure you are doing this accelerator so that we can work together as a community and move this new story forward. You're going to live it for 90 days, and you're going to take action every day as if that new story were true, right? As if the new story were true. And you don't have to be in Thought Leader Academy to join the accelerator. You can just come in here and do 90 days so that we can run together and make sure that that new story becomes, the only way it can become reality is every day we anchor in the new story, and then we take action as if it's true. You don't have to believe it's true at all. That's what I love. Yeah, and those of you already coming to the Palm Desert retreat, you don't need to sign up for the accelerator. You're just getting that as a bonus. All right? So make sure you are in that Game Changer Accelerator. It starts a week from today so that we can be 90 days in the new story. Miracles can and will happen when we live from the new story. That is my absolute experience. I fully believe I will be here in a future episode telling you about what's going on YouTube and how I'm so glad that first channel didn't work and that this one was the one that actually needed because of X, Y, and Z, right? We can't connect the dots now. We have to only connect them moving backwards. So we're going to move in faith. All right. The new story is the true story. So put a 3 in the comments or the chat if you're going to look for your 3 signs. You're going to create a new story about any obstacle that you faced so far in 2025. And you're going to look for 3 signs this week that the new story is the true story, and make sure you get in the accelerator. Because at least for me, I cannot stay in the new story by myself. It just is too tempting on a day when something else just goes boom, boom, boom. It's like the waves hitting you in the ocean. So we got to join forces, create a force field of truth, of positivity, of the new story, of high vibration, of aligned action. All right. So make sure you do that. We've extended the time when you can join the accelerator for this week. This is normally, it's normally $3,000. It's $697. Make sure you are in there and you have that vibration, you have that pathway to be able to powerfully move forward. All right. You saw Audrey do it with her book. She had all that. I'm not a writer. This is hard. There were challenges. And now the floodgates are open. Podcasts calling her, speaking engagements calling her, clients calling her, people wanting to talk. Yes. And if you want to talk to anyone about the accelerator, we'll put a link. We'll put a link in the chat. You can talk one-on-one to our team and ask about that. All right. All right, you guys, 3 signs this week. I love 3s. Let's do this. Letting go of the old story. The facts are just the facts. And then you're going to have a future forward story and come in the accelerator and make sure you have the best 90 days of your life. I want to hear before we leave, what is the thing that when you accomplish it 90 days from now, is going to rock your world? What are you claiming in this next 90 days? I want to feel this vibration. I want to start envisioning it for you. Put that in the comments or the chat, wherever you're watching this, wherever you're tuning in from. Where are you going in the next 90 days? If you could wave that magic wand, what happens? Let's seal ourselves in, and then you're going to write the story that matches with that. All right, I'm going to read them out from our live audience when you put those in the chat. What is it in this next 90 days that's going to rock your world and change the trajectory for the rest of your life? Martha's book is finished in the next 90 days. Woo! Yes. All right, I'm going to read these out. All right. Yes. Andrea, you're starting classes in your new studio. Amazing. Let's go. I want to see it. Let's get these visions. Let's lock them in. When you express them out loud or in writing to someone else, you have an 80% more likelihood of achieving it. Margaret's manuscript is finished. Let's go. Yes. Paulette, your number one book. Yes, you're going to finish your number one book and spiritual growth. Carissa, your book is to the publisher and you have a wait list for coaching clients. Let's go. Yes, 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 yes. This is so exciting. My hands are, this happens when energy is moving. They start tingling, they get hot, tingling energy. I'm feeling it. Anybody else feeling it? Yes, Dr. Ingrid, the social media campaign for your book, because you finished that book. Yes. Yes, now I'm feeling it moving up my arms. Let's go. Okay, everybody, make sure you're in the accelerator so that we can supersize this together. Melissa's book is written. All right, keep going. I'm going to read out a few more. Yes, I love it. Christina has her microphone and she's publishing more video content. She's out of the comfort zone and so proud of herself. Yes. Woo! Susan's manuscript is done and the real estate is ready for the proposals. This is awesome. Oh my goodness. Yes, 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 yes. All right, everybody, let's roll. Ready? This is the week. Changes the game. Get in the accelerator. Start running that news story and 3 signs. Next Monday, when we start the accelerator, I want to hear your 3 signs. I'm going to ask. All right. Remind me if I don't, but I think I'll remember. All right. Mwah. Have a great, great, great week. Great job today.